So I'm joined, it's a pleasure for me to be joined here by a Grandmaster and 5 times world champion, Vishy Anand, currently Deputy President of the International Chess Federation. Vishy, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, having a very good time in Cyprus. Obviously thrilled that I got a chance to come here, and that such a big chess event is happening here, the Women's Grand Prix.
I can say everyone's thrilled to have you around here. It's inspiring, and judging by yesterday's results, we can definitely say that your presence here has motivated the players to fight for the win at every chance. You saw yesterday with the 6 decisive wins. What do you think about that result here in this tournament?
Yesterday was a thrilling day. We had so many interesting games. I hope that this tournament will now live up to the new expectations, because probably people expect this every day now. But certainly the girls showed exceptional fighting spirit yesterday.
Talking about women's chess here, but in general, what steps can FIDE take to keep motivating women to participate massively in chess and enjoy the experience?
The key is to get more and more of them to participate in the game. And how do you do that? You need to have some good reason, some attraction. And that's why we are starting at both levels, at the top especially, where we are trying to organize lots of good competitions for women. The Women's Grand Prix has been very well organized this time, increased prize funds. We have increased prize funds in the World Rapid and Blitz, in multiple tournaments, the women's candidates next year. So all these things, you have to give them a reason to get into the game. And so it's very important to make women's chess rewarding, and we hope that will motivate them to compete and also reward those who dedicate many years to improving, because it takes a long time to get to this level, and the key is to motivate them to play more and participate more.
So Vishy, you have been FIDE Deputy President for nearly 9 months now. After being an elite player practically all your life, you enter into the realms of politics. What can you say about this new experience? How has it been for you, this experience? Was it what you expected when you decided to run for the FIDE presidency? What can an elite player like yourself bring to the table in the council meeting?
It is fairly close to what I've expected. So I have been in the board of directors of other sporting institutions, and again, I saw my role as more perspective. I think an organization is enriched when you have people from different walks of life bringing different perspectives to the table. And I thought that the reason the president, Mr. Dvorkovich, asked me, and the role I saw myself for FIDE, was to bring the players' perspective a little bit in, and also give chess players a feeling that one of their own was in organization. But really, you have to work as a team. You need the business side, the chess side, the organizational side, the arbiters, all the different components all working together. And I feel that this organization has been very successful. In very trying times, events still keep happening, very good events happen, and we are still enjoying the success of Astana. And going by the results yesterday, hopefully we'll have another fantastic event here. But big events in new countries, hopefully new sources of chess talent in the future, but that's what we're all working towards. And I've enjoyed it. It's given me a chance to be on the other side of chess. So nowadays, many chess tournaments, I have no tension at all. I just go and see the other side. But yeah, that's what we hope to build on in the future.
Does it make you understanding from the other side, having participated so many years playing as a player, now you see the other side, the organization side, the politics side, does it make you more understanding the difficulty sometimes organizing these tournaments?
To be honest, I had a sense of that when I was playing my World Championships, because often I would wonder, would they get around to organizing it, and will they find a bidder and so on. But somehow at the end they always delivered. And then when you got to the venue, of course I was cocooned from all this, but you could see that a lot of people running around in the background performing different functions. But to have an insider's view there, and then I appreciate that much more. I appreciate what the arbiters do, the people in charge of dealing with the media, the people in charge of even the teams going to hotels to inspect the venues, all these things. Every little component matters. If it's done well, everything goes like clockwork, and it's nice to see that sometimes.
So let me talk just a bit about your playing career. So you're currently number 9 in the rankings list, if I'm not mistaken. But I noticed you haven't played since November 2022, when you played the European Chess Club. At least that's the last tournament I saw you in. Are you thinking of making a comeback to competitive chess, or have you left these days behind you and you're considering maybe not retirement, but going down on the play? What tournaments have you planned for the next few months?
I have a reduced schedule, so I still play high-level events. I will play in the Zagreb Grand Chess Tour, for instance. I'm going to participate in the Club Cup again. So I have strong competition, but I play far fewer of them. And that's the current plan. It's difficult for me to dedicate the whole year to competing at the highest level. That will take too much energy, and I decided that's not where I see myself. But I like to compete from time to time, not to lose that side of me.
That's very refreshing.
Yes, and for the moment, that's where I'm going. I'm taking this 1 year at a time. We'll see how I feel it every time.
Do you still find time to train regularly, or do you sort of train specifically when the tournament's about to come about?
I follow chess the rest of the year, but of course, when the tournament comes, you have to switch up a gear. It's not the same to say I'll just continue following. You'll have to raise it by a gear. But yes, I have to work. I have to train. There's no choice, because you cannot play modern chess just by inspiration. You kind of have to have something specific prepared.
So connecting with competitive chess, I'd like to talk about Gukesh. Specifically. He's turning 17 this month, so he's not even 17, and he already overtook Vidit in the rating list. He's now number 2 in India. Do you think it's, he's still climbing, do you think it's too early to say that he could become India's main candidate for world champion, or it's too early to say that? Talk to me a bit about Gukesh.
I think it's fair to say both. These days, it's very difficult to predict the career arcs that people will have. But Gukesh is incredibly talented. I mean, let's take a step back and see. Just 2.5 years ago, when I started working with him in the Vishy Anand Academy, he was essentially a low 2500 player. And from that time, he's gained 200 points. And he's now in the top 20.
He's number 18.
Number 18, right. Okay, these things bob around a bit, but he's competed well in the WR Masters. He recovered from a bad start in Tata Steel. Now he's playing in Sharjah. He will play in Norway Chess. And he's a huge talent. Now there's a lot to build on. I think it's kind of pointless to say he has a chance, he doesn't have a chance. I mean, anyone who's 17 is in the top 20 has a chance. But to make it happen, that's the key. And I'm very hopeful that we can help him do that. And clearly, he's one of India's great hopes. We have others, but he's, at the moment, the number 1 big talent that we have.
He even came to Spain recently to defend his Menorca title. Won again in a very tricky tournament, double round. Very few 27-30s play these type of tournaments. So at least in that aspect, he's doing very well. My last question for you, Vishy. You mentioned in the opening ceremony that it was your first time in Cyprus. So automatically, I wondered, how many countries have you been to, if you keep the count? And are there any more in your bucket list that you'd like to visit, or countries you've been to before for chess purposes, but you haven't had a chance to visit intensively? Tell me about your experience traveling. How many countries? That's what I'm interested in.
All right. Okay, if you want a number, it's 60. Cyprus is the 60th country.
Really? Only 60? But many times, a lot of them, of course.
Obviously, there are countries that I visit dozens of times a year, and countries I visit less. I'm happy to travel, meet old friends, catch up. There are, as you mentioned, there are huge gaps in, I mean, when you go for a tournament, you tend to go to a hotel, stay there, focus on your tournament, and then you have no time at the end, you get back. It's very different from sightseeing. I'd like to experience that. So I'm open-ended. We're happy to experience a new country or an old one.
Could you give me 3 where you'd like to go, for instance, for more time?
I'm quite deficient in East Asia, so I would like to know that well. So off the top of my head, I would say Indonesia, maybe Japan, in Asia. Africa, there are huge gaps. I've been to Southern Africa and to the very north, but that's another continent. And South America, I'm missing Peru. I've been to Chile, but I would like to go to Patagonia and see those parts. probably Mexico a bit more. So that's a few.
I'm really surprised that you've only been to 60 countries, really. Leoncio was telling me he'd been to 106. Of course, he goes to many countries, but 60 just seems not too many.
That is true, but in many places I would often come a long way, stay in one country and go back. And there's also a difference when you visit small countries and big countries. I mean, strictly counting countries, you get bonus points from going from across one border to the other and one border back. But when you go to large countries, the border is thousands of kilometers away. But and even the 60 is for me, it's a bit a strange number. I mean, I did it in a website where you can enter this, and they give you points for Isle of Man as a separate country. So it looks very like based on some technicalities. I would say it's definitely 50 countries, as in countries. And but like I said, I'm happy to travel.
Well, it's good to know that it's the first time in Cyprus for you.
Yeah.
Your trip here, is it okay? Are you having a good time? I know you have a simultaneous display now in about 2 hours. So what's your experience here in Cyprus?
It's been very positive. It's a very lovely island. It reminds me of, I mean, the landscape. There's a bit of Andalusia, there's a bit of the Mediterranean islands, well, of which it is one. And what little bit I've seen today, I went for a little bit of sightseeing. It's nice. Again, you can only see so much of a country in a couple of hours, but it's beautiful. People are friendly, and we have a fantastic tournament here. So I hope Freedom Finance will continue to partner with us in big events. They've been with us in Astana, with us here, and I hope they continue to work with us in the future.
Okay. Thanks for your time, Vishy.
Thanks.